confusion, whether it's medical or not, I don't know. We'll never have any answers, and unfortunately, more times than not, it brings up more questions than answers or solutions. But, you know, we all know he was a comedic genius. I put down that I thought he was very highly underrated as a dramatic actor. Now, while I have many movies of his that I consider my favorites, as a retired English teacher, the one that I think of more than anything, in fact, I watched it twice today, was Dead Poets Society. It happened to be on this morning on Showtime.
I thought you were saying Mrs. Doubtfire.
Now, I actually didn't care for Mrs. Doubtfire that much, but that was more slapstick than anything.
I know.
But the point is, talk about serious movies as an English teacher, changing lives, which is having an effect on young minds. And I just want to read you something that one of my former students sent to me today. She lives in Boston with her son, and she obviously read what I had wrote on Facebook, and she said, "For my Mr. Keating," and my name, Marc in parentheses, "whose lessons went far beyond ninth grade grammar and literature." And then she says, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." And if you saw Dead Poets Society, that's the term that he told his students to use when addressing him if they felt that he was that kind of an influence on them. And, 32 years as a teacher, it's rare that anybody comes back to say thank you or they remember you for whatever reason. And when somebody prints something like this and sends it to you, I mean, you get choked up. You really do. To have that kind of effect on a young mind, okay, and they let you know about it. So there's no question here. So again, Ardith, I know you're probably not listening, and I don't have, unfortunately, your screen name or anything. I'll have to print the thank you on Facebook, but thank you. What can I say? There is more news to discuss. I told you part of today was going to be news. You know that Bernie Sanders is getting, number one, he's drawing tremendous crowds across the country. His campaign success could not have been envisioned when he first said that he was thinking of running or throwing his hat into the ring. But
that's
unfortunately, he is the Black Lives Matter movement is really giving him a hard time. And when you stop to think that, Bernie Sanders marched 50 years ago for civil rights, I understand that the people who have something to say are exercising their First Amendment right. Okay, freedom of speech. But by exercising their First Amendment right, they are preventing Bernie Sanders from exercising his First Amendment right and saying what he wants to say, maybe even explaining how he feels about Black Lives Matter. Because I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, after 32 years in the inner city of New York City as a teacher, honestly, all lives matter. It's not just Black Lives Matter, okay? There's an article here about a white youth in South Carolina who was killed by a white cop. The youth was unarmed, and the policeman said that he feared for his life because the youth was behind the wheel of a car, and the car was coming toward him. Okay? But it seems like that article was hushed up. All we read about are Black Lives Matter. Okay? Again, I don't want to sound like a bigot because I'm not. I don't have a prejudiced bone in my body. I mean, you don't survive 32 years in East New York, Brownsville, and Harlem, okay, teaching for the Department of Education, all right, if there's any hint that you have a prejudiced bone in your body.
That's true, and also when you're only 6'4".
I'm more like 4'6".
That's exactly. I mean, you've got to be diplomatic because you sure as hell.
I mean, I remember a principal who happened to be a racist himself, by the way, but he said he used to pass by my room, and he would look for me. And now, mind you, this was a 6th grade class in Brownsville. Even in the 6th grade, they were all bigger than me. He said, the kids were all around you. I couldn't see you until they started to move away, and there you were.
I wasn't sure if they were beating you up or what. Right?
Well, it's true. Well, I also remember an assistant principal at a faculty conference. I was seated. I had my hand up to ask a question, and Jerry happened to say, I see a hand in the back. I think it's Mr. Kinnickson. Will you please stand up? And the guy next to me said, what do you mean? He is standing. So, I mean, I've had this my whole life, and it really doesn't bother me, But I have to tell you, what really hurt me was the last time I was going in for surgery. They give you a pre-op, and they have to weigh you and measure your height. And I told the nurse, I'm 5'4". She said, yeah? She said, guess again. And she measured my height, and I was 5'1". And I was fit to be tied because I remember my dad, may he rest in peace, telling me, Marc, when you get old, you shrink. Now, he said, when you get old, I was only 64 or 65 at the time. Okay, that's not old. Maybe to a young person of 30, that's old, but
to us, it's not
to
old.
us, that's not old. And I had already shrunk 3 inches. My God.
That's true.
Pretty soon, women wear capri pants. They come up to the thigh.
Yeah.
Capri pants on me are going to be long pants.
Well, the shorts you were wearing the other day seemed like they were long pants.
Yeah, really, I know.
I wasn't sure if they were long shorts or short long pants.
Very true. But anyway, my take on this whole thing about Black Lives Matter is that all life matters, ladies and gentlemen. It's a tragedy when a black youth is killed, when they're unarmed, okay? It's a tragedy when a white youth is killed. It's also a tragedy when they kill each other. We have to learn to live together.
That's true. We really do. But we haven't learned that yet.
Maybe somebody out there has an opinion. Remember, the number is 646-595-3275.
And Ferguson looks like they're back in the news again. Cop shot somebody.
Well, actually, let me explain. Because the chief of police in Ferguson, or one of the chiefs of police, said that the demonstration was very peaceful during the day, during the daylight hours. At night, however, they had rival members of different gangs filtering into the city, and they were shooting at each other. Okay, and the police were doing their due diligence trying to protect the unarmed citizens who wanted to memorialize the death of Michael Brown and do it peacefully. Okay, so they were actually protecting the people. The person who was shot happened to be a gang member who was shooting at other people. Okay, so he wasn't an unarmed youth. he went there for a specific purpose of stirring up trouble.
Yeah, no.
Now the problem is that happened over the weekend, and yesterday and today we have.
No, yesterday it was when the shooting was.
Well, all right. Today they have numbers of people who are blocking traffic.
Yesterday, day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday was Sunday.
That was a shooting.
Yeah.
Yesterday they were blocking the traffic.
Right, and they were continuing that.
I don't know what they were doing today.
You know, and you could understand the marching and being peaceful, but people have to get to work. People have jobs to get to. People have things to do. You're only asking yourself to get arrested. Now, again, I stress, your First Amendment right to protest. But, this is what riles up citizens and the police, and you worry about what might happen. And that's all I have to say about that.
A lot of people get killed. It's really sad what's going on. But I'm looking over here at the results, the latest results. It's on August 11th on where the Republicans stand.
Well, that's today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Latest results. And Trump has got 17%.
He went down.
No, this is Bush went down to 10.
Yeah, but Trump was up to 23. 20 or 23.
Depends which results you listen to.
Well, but either way, he went down.
Trump 17, Bush 10, Rubio 10, Walker 9, Carson 8.
What about Fiorina?
9. So she's right there. She's
well, like I said before, if they only have 10 people on the stage for the next debate, which will be covered by CNN, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to get bumped from that
from the
first group of 10?
Huckabee 3.
No, he's no great loss if you want to know the truth.
I'm just saying, but that's what it is. Trump was 17, Bush was 10, Walker was 9, Rubio was 10, Carson was 8.
Oh, by the way, did you happen to hear what else Trump said? He said they had 26,000 people tuned in for this debate. He said they wanted to listen to me. He said if I wasn't there, they would have been lucky to get 2 million people.
He's right.
He probably would have been right.
He is right.
But he's constantly patting himself on the back and telling himself how valuable and what a great job he's doing.
And look at this. You're going to love this. Perry's got 1%. Santorum's got 1%. Graham,
wait. Who has 1%?
Santorum.
Okay.
Perry. Jindal, whatever his name
now,
is.
To me, to quote Donald, they're all losers.
Graham, no percent.
Well, he started out with no percent.
Yeah, but I figured they give him 1% just so he doesn't feel bad. Christie looks like he's going to get bumped out. He's at 4%.
What about Rand Paul?
4%.
Huh?
Huckabee 3. So it looks like it'll be Trump. If nothing changes, Bush, Walker, Rubio,
Carson, Fiorina.
Yeah, Cruz, Fiorina. How many is that so far?
I don't know.
And 1 or 2 more, but Fiorina is just solid in there with 9. She's 1 below Bush.
And most of the pundits said that Bush really did nothing he didn't do anything to hurt himself, but he certainly didn't do anything to improve his numbers.
His numbers went down.
He didn't do anything to improve his standing, so to speak.
Now here's the Iowa Republican presidential. Trump 17, Walker 12.